That's a real problem for Canelo because he will just be switching, and you don't know where the shots are coming from, and it's so easy for him to do so. And I think the thing that really made me appreciate him is there's many times where I've seen people try and trade with him and slug it out and...
I don't know if it's reachable for him. If anybody can do it, it's him, and I'm contradicting myself. I just don't see it happening, you know? Could it happen? Yeah, it's boxing.
Reports say he's teaming up with none other than Gennady Golovkin. Yes, Gennady Golovkin himself, to prepare for the biggest fight of his career. But can Gennady Golovkin guidance help Crawford overcome the size and power of Canelo? Terence Crawford training with Gennady Golovkin has sent shockwaves through the boxing world. This partnership isn't just about sparring, it's about sharpening Crawford's power, timing, and fight IQ to another level. And with Gennady Golovkin's legendary experience in big fights, this could be the edge Crawford needs for the toughest test of his career. When analysts look at Crawford, they don't see an ordinary fighter. They see a generational talent, speed, timing, precision, and the rare ability to switch stances mid-fight without losing rhythm. His boxing IQ is often called genius level because he breaks down opponents like a chess master. And that adaptability, that's what makes him unlike almost anyone Canelo has ever faced.
But if there is anyone who can do it, it's Terence "Bud" Crawford, a man who survived getting shot in the head, for God's sakes. Like, he is not normal. He is a wizard of boxing. He's got genius IQ, one of the smartest boxers I've ever seen, and he can do it all. He's had over 40 fights. I can't ever remember seeing him like shook or worried. Or I mean, this is, you know, trained killers trying to take his head off, and he never looks out of pocket. He is like a rapper who just turns up and figures out his lines on the fly and still makes it sound like the best song you've ever heard. Like, that's how amazing he is. Like, I've never seen anyone who can fight out both stances the way Crawford can. I mean, he looks so natural in either stance. That's a real problem for Canelo because he will just be switching, and you don't know where the shots are coming from, and it's so easy for him to do so. And I think the thing that really made me appreciate him is there's many times where I've seen people try and trade with him and slug it out, and you know when they stand in the pocket and they just go for it. And even in those situations where usually both of you are getting hit, he still manages to hit and not get hit. It's like he's in the Matrix. And this isn't against average fighters. This is against the best in the world at 4 different weight classes. And he's made it look easy pretty much every time he's moved up. I think in the Errol Spence fight, that was a fight that was supposed to be 50-50. The pressure was on. A lot of people thought he was going to lose that fight. He made that look like a boxing lesson. And the reason is when Errol Spence would throw a punch and not get out of the pocket quick enough, he would make them pay every single time. And if people are worried about Canelo's feet being slow, if there's anyone who can punish that, it's Terence "Bud" Crawford. In terms of weaknesses, these guys, they don't really have weaknesses. They've just got things that they maybe not as amazing at. That's the level we're talking here. Canelo has been accused of being a bit of a slow starter, and you know, that could be a problem in this fight.
Now here's the catch. As analyst Mikkel Fox pointed out, the only true disadvantage Crawford faces is size. Moving up to fight a naturally bigger and stronger Canelo is no joke. The physical pressure alone could be the difference, but outside of that, Crawford holds the technical edge everywhere else. His footwork creates impossible angles. His jab controls the rhythm, and his timing punishes even the smallest mistakes. If he can survive Canelo's power, his skill set could completely outclass the Mexican superstar.
I would like to see Bud pull it off. Thing about it is, I think the only disadvantage Bud really has is the weight. I think he has all the skills and attributes that are required to beat a guy like Canelo Alvarez. Canelo's kind of flat-footed. You've seen the fights with Bivol and Laura and even School, who didn't do much, but you see that movement irritates Canelo. You know what I'm saying? When dudes that know how to control the range and stuff like that, he didn't look like the world beater. You know what I mean? The motherfucker that sat in front of him, them dudes that sat in front of him, we see what he did with him. You know what I mean? But guys like Bivol, who was bigger, but he bouncing in and out. Laura, motherfucking landing counter lefts, and he's circling out, and that shit was, you know, fucking with Canelo. Floyd, you know, it probably killed Canelo that Floyd was always only an inch away. Just a little step back, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, God, that fuck I missed by a mile.
That's crazy because he didn't use no movement.
Right.
He stood in the pocket on it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Triple G was, you said G? Triple G?
No, I said Floyd didn't use no movement.
Yeah, no. Yeah. He was always where he needed to be in the ring. He was always where he needed to be in the ring. I'm in there to land, then I'm just right here. In there to land, but now I'm right here. It just, it was a bad motherfucker, Joe. Like that's what Floyd never gotta understand. Floyd was a bad motherfucker. But the movement, having good feet under you, helps against Canelo.
Came the bombshell. New training photos of Crawford surfaced online. Fans saw a sharper, more muscular version of Bud than ever before, but people immediately started asking, are these pictures real? Or just hyped up edits to rattle Canelo? Whether real or not, one thing's clear. Crawford is locked in like never before. And fans are watching every tiny detail leading up to the super fight.
Shredded wheat and amazing is this photo photoshopped, because this photo that Ilia Tapora posted of Terence Bud Crawford is the latest photo we've seen, and he looks just less impressive in this photo. Well, the question is really, when were the photos taken? All right, so when you look at this photo and you look at this photo and look at this video of Terence Crawford with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh as Terence Crawford is working out, supposedly just yesterday, right? Which one is Terence Crawford's latest appearance? Because even though this is the latest photo you've seen, doesn't mean this is when the photo was taken. The only reason why people are confused is because this latest photo seems to have been taken in Vegas. And we're approaching fight week and Terence Crawford is already in Vegas. Hence the video with him with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh in Vegas. Now, let me explain all of this. Well, first you gotta look at the hairstyles, right? Terence Crawford in this photo from Ilia Tapora, his hairstyle is totally different than this hairstyle here with Terence Crawford shredded wheat. It is also different than his hairstyle that he has here in the gym with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. You can tell because you can tell how the hair braid, like how it's parted in this photo, and in this photo, they're more parted down the middle, where this video, it's slanted, it's in like a diagonal slant, which I'm thinking is his latest.
Adam Smith added another powerful point. He said boxing isn't just about skills, it's about timing. And right now, the timing couldn't be better for Crawford. Canelo, after years of wars with top fighters, isn't as fast or explosive as he once was. Meanwhile, Crawford is undefeated in his prime and hungrier than ever. According to Smith, this might be the perfect storm. The exact moment where Crawford's rise meets Canelo's slight decline.
Be in Vegas to see, I think Terence Crawford beats Canelo, and I think that it's going to be his coming out party. I'd love to be there, and Canelo, of course, an all-time great. Yeah, but listen, I love Ireland, and I'm pleased to be in Belfast with the zone for Crocker and Donovan. There's something about an all-Irish fight which is fantastic, and it was great and controversial first time around. It's even bigger now, so yeah, let's chat over there and get on with it.
Just a quick one on Canelo Crawford. I heard you pick Crawford, you just said it there. How much of that is down to timing and how much of that is down to styles?
A bit of both. I think Canelo is approaching 70 fights. He's been beaten before. Crawford remains undefeated. I think that the jump up is big, but I think he's got the speed, the IQ, the experience, the know-how to be able to handle it. If he's switched on for every minute of every round, I think he wins, and I think he announces himself to the world on Netflix. And I think he deserves it. I think Terence Crawford's only been really known to the trade fans. Canelo, obviously, a bigger name, bigger star, and look, I fancy Crawford in this fight. Look, nothing against Canelo. Maybe it's a little bit of time in the skull fight. I don't know, but there's plenty that fancy Canelo. Be too big, too strong, too good. It's Crawford for me.
But not everyone agrees. On Talk Sport Boxing, the debate got heated. Some say if Crawford takes a bad loss here, it could end his chances at the top level of boxing forever. Others believe his intelligence and adaptability could actually expose Canelo's weaknesses. The split in opinion shows just how massive the stakes really are.
So yeah, there's a big argument that Canelo Alvarez starts the favourite going into this one because he's the super middleweight world champion. Bud Crawford jumping up two weight divisions, you know, and he's jumped up a weight division before that as well, beating Errol Spence. You just look at it and go, it's a massive ask here for Terence Crawford. Something inside me tells me he wins, and we'll get into that later on.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but in the meantime, you know, Canelo, as ever, has left no stone unturned. He's been training at altitude in Sierra Nevada, looking to get the maximum body stamina and preparation advantage. It's something that he's used to. And, of course, he's going to effectively be the home fighter because Tex-Mexers will be up in their numbers from Texas. Also, Hispanic fans from all around the United States. The fight is being made on Mexican Independence Day. I don't think you have to be a great crystal ball gazer to know where the bulk of the crowd is going to be rooting when they step out inside those ropes and their names are bellowed out by the ringside announcer afterwards.
Listen, even though the fight happens in America and Terence Crawford is American, it is going to be so pro-Mexican there, you know, because Canelo is accepted. He's like an adopted son there, and Mexican Independence Day, all of that goes so much in favour of Canelo Alvarez. You go, actually, the guy that's a four-division world champion and a superstar of the sport and American will start probably the fan favourite will definitely be Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, definitely. And he's been training with somebody, sparring with a man who he thinks replicates Crawford's style in sparring many rounds against Jaron Ennis.
George Ferocious Kambosos Jr. gave his take, and it was all about Canelo's pressure. He reminded everyone that Canelo is at his deadliest when he cuts. Off the ring, corners his opponent, and unloads heavy combinations. If he forces Crawford to fight moving backward, it could spell trouble. Crawford will have to be slick, disciplined, and sharp every second of every round to survive that storm.
But a lot of people feel Crawford actually lost that fight. So we've got Crawford who's coming in off the back of, well, his previous two fights. One of them was brilliant performance. The other one was a bit lackluster by his very high standards, albeit against a very, very good fighter. But you could see in that fight that the size of Israel Madrimov, bear in mind, 154 pounds, Israel Madrimov still fights at 154 pounds. This is super middleweight, 2 divisions more. And we've seen Canelo when he's brought someone up from 154, who was a decent size 154 pounder in Charlo. But Crawford's not going to do what Charlo did. Charlo fought like, you know, someone who was completely scared out of his mind and just knew he wasn't going to win, but didn't want to get stopped. That was really the look we were getting from Charlo. Crawford is not going to do that. He's a very proud man. He doesn't know what it's like to be defeated. He fully believes in himself and the shape he looks in phenomenal shape. He's coming into this fight fully believing that he can win this. And that right there is the mindset you need to have. It won't guarantee you victory, but it will give you a better chance than if you went in there thinking, right, just survive and see what happens. I do think that the size difference will be something. Although saying that, look at Canelo Alvarez, we look at his most recent performances, and when's the last fight from Alvarez that's really made you stand up and take note? Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, maybe those 2 fights, they were good performances. Lost, clearly.
This is the first time I pick it. I'm going to go with Canelo on this one.
Why is that?
They're both great at what they do. I'm going against Maggie. I heard everything she said right now. She's right on the money on all that stuff, but Crawford has done a lot of great things at a smaller weight. You know, that jump is I don't know. I don't know if it's reachable for him. If anybody can do it, it's him, and I'm contradicting myself. I just don't see it happening, you know? Could it happen? Yeah, it's boxing. But I just think Canelo's too good at the little things and what's Crawford's game plan gonna be, you know? That's what's gonna define the fight to me.
Do you think Canelo knocks him out?
No, but I think, that's the only way I think he's gonna win. I think he wants to make a statement. I was going back and forth about Canelo, like everybody talks about, like, for example, when Berlanga fought Shiraz. Did I say it right? Shiraz? Berlanga was engaging with Shiraz. He wasn't engaging with Canelo much, you know? Same thing with Ryder. He didn't engage with Canelo. Munguia did. And it's like, you fight people different. Crawford's not gonna fight him the same way he's fought everybody else. Yeah, he's gonna make great.
So here's the question. Can Crawford's genius-level IQ, boosted by Gennady Golovkin training, be enough to overcome Canelo's size, power, and relentless pressure? Or will Canelo prove that experience and strength are simply too much? Drop your predictions in the comments, Crawford or Canelo. This fight could define boxing history.